Hey, what's up, YouTube? Rules for Rebels here, and I have a big announcement for you guys today regarding Amazon, a new Amazon policy. This one specifically geared at new Amazon FBA sellers. Before we get into this, no, I have not decided to start dressing up for my videos. I'm actually on the way out the door to a christening right now, but just wanted to get this video out there because I'm a little bit late on bringing you guys this news. As of October 10th, 2016, Amazon instituted a new policy. They are no longer allowing new Amazon FBA sellers to send merchandise into Amazon FBA for Prime fulfillment. And as of right now, this policy stands from October 10th of 2016 to December 19th of 2016. Now, it's not as huge of a deal as you maybe think, although it is going to affect new sellers and it is going to block them out of certain categories. I think the larger concern here is this date going to be pushed back? So as of right now, after December 19th, you can start sending stuff into Amazon FBA again. What I would be worried about if I were a new Amazon FBA seller is that, come December 19th, Amazon's like, oh, by the way, we're going to extend this to February 1st. And then February 1st comes around and, oh, we're going to extend this to February 15th. So that would be my bigger concern. This doesn't mean you can't sell on Amazon. It just means that you can't send your stuff off to the FBA fulfillment center. And actually, how I learned about this last night, I got a call from a buddy of mine who's been working on a private label for like the past year. He's kind of taking a little bit too long rolling it out, but I understand, his product is much more than Amazon. He's going to be selling it to certain industries, going to be selling it on Walmart and Macy's and House.com and Walmart.com and all these other sites. So I understand why he wants to get the product right. But dragging his feet has really kind of kicked him in the butt because his marketing plan was to build up reviews through review exchange sites. He's no longer allowed to do that. And now he can't send his stuff into FBA, and he was kind of freaking out because he says he just doesn't have the time, nor can really one person scale the business and ship out all the stuff he needs. So that was his big concern. So I suggested he use a couple third-party fulfillment centers. But let's kind of stay organized and go through this stuff here. So the new Amazon FBA policy: new FBA sellers are blocked until December 19th of 2016. Amazon's warehouses are too full. That's kind of why this change is taking place. Amazon always fills up in Q4. Obviously, Q4 is the biggest time of year for retailers. That's why they call Black Friday because it puts retailers into black. So it's a great time to be selling on Amazon or elsewhere for that matter. So this does kind of hurt having this happen during Q4. And let me stress again, new Amazon sellers, you can still do seller fulfilled stuff. You just can't send your stuff into the Amazon FBA warehouse. And now with the new Amazon Seller Fulfilled Prime, I imagine most of you guys who are new probably aren't in a situation where you can ship out same day and meet all the requirements. But for those of you guys who are, that is still an option for you. If you want your stuff to be available via Prime, you can still do Seller Fulfilled Prime. You can still do Seller Fulfilled. You can still do Seller Fulfilled Prime. And this new policy began on October 10th. So it's October 23rd of 2016. I'm a little bit late in bringing this news to you. The reason I bring this up, basically, if you sent in Amazon Prime shipments prior to October 10th, you're fine. This doesn't affect you. If you haven't sent stuff in prior to that, you will not be able to send stuff in now. If you want to read more about the policy, go to amazon.com/FBA, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you'll see the notification there. I have heard of a few sellers who are new Prime sellers who have been able to sneak stuff through. And basically, if you want to try it out and see if they'll let you, find a couple things around your house, some books or something like that. Try to create an FBA shipment. Most likely it'll stop you. Some people have reported that they've been able to get them through. The one thing I would tell you guys, Amazon's very strict about toys. In Q4 every year, Amazon has a policy that you are not, that if you're seller fulfilling, unless you have had, I believe it's 25 successful sales, under a 1% order defect rate, low returns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Unless you meet these requirements, you are not going to be able to sell in the toy category. So a workaround to this was that you could send your toys into FBA. Amazon FBA doesn't trust you or me as sellers when we're new, but they do trust themselves. So even if your metrics didn't qualify you to sell in the toy category leading up till Christmas, you could still send merchandise into Amazon FBA. Well, now that new sellers can't send stuff into Amazon FBA, they can't sell toys, period. So any of you guys who are into retail arbitrage or are new Amazon sellers and we're thinking about getting your toy inventory into Amazon FBA, don't bother with it because they're not going to let you send it in. Who is affected? Sellers who haven't used Amazon FBA prior to October 16th will not be able to use it until 12/16. Like I said, to me, the bigger concern, and don't think that you're going to get stuff in before Christmas. If you send something in on 12/16, it probably won't be processed till after the first of the year, and probably won't be listed on Amazon. So don't think like, oh, on October 16th, I'm gonna have all my stuff ready to go and ship it off, because you're not gonna be selling before Christmas. Are you you're still able to sell, just not FBA, and you won't be allowed to sell in the toy category. And then lastly, who benefits from this? Veteran sellers now have less competition. Every year around Christmas, you get a bunch of new people running into the market. So those of you who are already on FBA, you're not going to have any newbies rushing into FBA right before Christmas. Sellers allowed to sell in toys also have less competition, because new sellers aren't going to be able to sell in toys, period, and they're not going to be able to send their stuff into FBA either. So if you're an established seller, toys could be a good category for you this Christmas season. What's good about this is there's no longer a race to the bottom. So what tends to happen a lot of times around Christmas time, or even just Q4 period, you get a lot of new sellers coming into Amazon FBA. Everybody's competing for the buy box if it's not a private label product. And the more experienced sellers are obviously going to win the buybacks more of the time. So you have these new sellers who maybe have 100 pieces of inventory and they're like, I'm not selling anything, I'm not in the buy box, oh my gosh, why is this, what can I do? And they wind up driving down the price, either to the point where nobody's making money, or they may even be willing to sell their stock at either like break even or a loss, just because they start freaking out like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get stuck with all this stuff. Let's just sell it. Even if I lose $5 a product, I just want to get my money back out of this. And what that causes is it drags down the entire listing to the point where nobody's making any money. So higher prices will be maintained. And one other thing I'd like to stress, this is only a temporary change. As of right now, could Amazon bump it back? Yes, that's a possibility. But as of right now, this policy is going to end on December 16th, and you can start the new year fresh, start your new FBA business fresh in the new year. So there are a few solutions for you guys who are want to be Amazon sellers and can't fulfill your stuff through FBA. I hear a lot of people say like, oh, I can't fulfill my own stuff. For most of you guys, I don't think this is true, and it kind of annoys me when I hear people say this, because for about 3 years, I ran an e-commerce business while working a 50-hour-a-week job. The first couple years were slower, but probably the last 2 years of me running my e-commerce business, we were doing over $2 million a year in sales. I had a 50-hour full-time job, and I still managed to get all my shipments out and things like that. So anybody who says they don't have time really just doesn't want to make the time to do it for the most part. So that kind of annoys me when I hear that. But if you want to sell on Amazon, you can find the time to do it. If you choose to outsource your fulfillment to somebody else, more power to you, but realize you probably do have time to do it. Now let me show you a couple of the alternative fulfillment sources here. 1 second. Okay, so there's 3 companies. I haven't personally used these companies. However, I've heard good things about them from people I trust. And after my buddy ran into this problem where he can't sell his stuff through FBA, I decided to do a little bit of research to try to help him out. So Red Stag, I believe they were former Amazon sellers themselves who were kind of unhappy with the fulfillment services out there, and they decided to start their own company. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they ship same day up until 5 p.m. Central Time. And for any of you, okay, here we go. Do you value same day order fulfillment, discounted shipping rates, 100% accurate fulfillment, business partnership, committed client support, complete transparency, and special fulfillment needs? So a lot of people like rave about Amazon FBA or like using Amazon multi-channel fulfillment, but really Amazon kind of sucks compared to a lot of these other companies. A lot of these other companies can do fulfillment cheaper. They can more customize it to your product. So if you have a specific product that needs specific needs or specific packaging, they can help you with that. Whereas Amazon doesn't allow a lot of customization. While Amazon is fulfilling your product, they're also stealing sales data. And eventually, if you wind up being successful, they may steal your idea, change it enough as to not infringe on your copyright, and go compete with you. So do you really want to pay a company like Amazon all this money in seller fees and fulfillment fees just to have them use that inside information to steal your business from you? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not, I would hope. But yeah, this Red Stag fulfillment also, I believe if they make a mistake and send out a wrong shipment, whatever else, they will give you $50 for every mistake that they made. So Red Stag's a reputable name. They're the best fulfillment service of 2016, according to, what is that, fitsmallbusiness.com or something like that. The next company we have is Shipwire. Shipwire is also an order fulfillment service. Gets very good reviews. I've known a couple people who speak highly of them, and it's a good site. This is a new one. I can't really speak to these guys. It's called FBAforward.com, and they seem to really be heavily advertising since this news. We can look at how their process works, their pricing. So if you're looking to be a new Amazon FBA seller and you don't have the time to self-fulfill, you may want to look at one of these 3 companies. One more thing I'd like to say real quickly before we cut out this video. So I realize if you're a new Amazon FBA seller that this kind of sucks for you. However, in the grand scheme of things, barriers to entry are actually a good thing for business. My main business that makes up the majority of my income is a business that has a very high barrier to entry, which means I don't have to worry about new people coming into the industry. If you wanted to get into the industry, it's probably going to cost you $500,000, which is going to keep most people out. And that's why it's such a profitable business, because there's a few players in there. It's a very difficult business to navigate in, and there's really not going to be any new sellers popping up for the most part. So barriers to entry are actually kind of a good thing. It can help you make more money in a certain industry, and it's going to keep new competition out. So I realize it's frustrating if you're a new seller, but try to think about this as a positive. Or I just don't think about it as a positive. It sucks for you, no getting around that. But realize it really doesn't affect you that much. All it means is that you can't have Amazon FBA fulfill your stuff for you. You still have Red Stag and Shipwire. You can still do seller fulfilled Prime, so your items can still appear on Prime. I do feel like by doing FBA, you get a little bit of a boost in winning the buy box. And you may get a little bit of additional sales rank since Amazon knows they're going to make money off of you. They're maybe going to keep your stuff selling well. But in the grand scheme of things, this isn't going to affect anybody that much. It's a little bit less competition for the established sellers. It's a little bit more hoops to jump through for new sellers, but it is just a temporary thing. I wanted to make you guys aware of it. And one thing, if any of you guys were planning, like, oh, I'm going to run out to Toys R Us and buy all these toys and send them into Amazon FBA, you may want to adjust that plan. So hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, on a mobile phone to the bottom right, on a computer to the bottom left, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Reddit, on an Amazon seller forum or Amazon FBA forum or something like that, please share this so you can notify or warn other people about it. And stay tuned. I got a bunch more great videos coming out later this week. If you guys have questions, comments, or have run into problems with this yourself, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. And lastly, for any of you guys who have either used Red Stag, Shipwire, or FBA Forward, please drop a comment. Let people know what your experience is so people can know whether or not they should use them. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll talk to you later.